Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Long time no see.
Yeah, sorry for the delay. It's nice to see everybody.
Yeah, we're coming at you with a little bit of a different setup today.
Yeah.
As you can see, the studio's not quite ready yet. So for right now, we're doing it like this.
Yeah, better that we get your questions answered than go another week without doing this. So
Yeah.
even though it's not as professional and there's a slight echo, hopefully that won't turn too many of you off to us.
Yeah, basically it had already been at least 2 weeks without a stream,
Yeah,
so
right.
wanted to get it going, even though we don't have the green screen set up. The mic situation's a little bit iffy. Yeah, but we should be good. Hopefully there's no kind of issues right now. But it looks like the stream is working fine, so I guess we'll just get to going. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll get to them just like normal. And yeah, hope y'all are doing all right. And we're kind of less prepared than normal today as well.
Yeah, just bear with us. Probably for the next, few weeks, we're going to be, we both moved. We got a new studio going. There's a lot of things going on. So we're going to be
We're rusty.
yeah, it all feels a little rusty, actually.
All right, here we go. Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear us all right.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if there's any kind of issue.
Yeah, if there's kind of sound issues, mic issues, any kind of issues with our stream, let us know, because yeah, it's kind of a different setup. All right, I bought a link from a high traffic site, but my website isn't getting more traffic or sales. What's going on? I'll just start with this is a very common question that our customer service people get.
Oh, really? Yeah.
From someone that's bought links and they don't really know what they're doing quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they read some articles about how link building's good. Maybe they even took a little tiny course or whatever, but they still don't really
understand that they're gaming the algorithm with the links versus using them to acquire.
Or that they think it's just like they think that you put some money in and you get the prize out.
Yeah.
And that's not how, and they think it's going to happen fast. They think they're going to get that instant correlated reward.
Yeah, it's not a vending machine. SEO is more like a keep feeding it until it finally returns something.
And it's like a wild animal. It has a mind of its own, and it's super unpredictable. But so the question, I bought a link from a high traffic site. So he bought one link
based on the overall website, as far as I'm understanding the question, getting a lot of traffic.
Yeah, the website that he got the link from has a lot of traffic. But my website isn't getting more traffic or sales. What's going on? So I think, this is for people that don't do SEO, when they buy a link on a high traffic website, they think, oh, well, because this website has a lot of traffic, a lot of readers, I'm going to get a link from them, and then those readers are just going to come to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which
is not the way it works typically.
Yeah, and especially when you're looking at traffic more from an SEO perspective,
right?
Rather than, I guess it would still be an SEO perspective. Right. It's just kind of like a different kind of.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Like high traffic site, is there a lot of value in that? Absolutely, but typically, if you're buying links, or if you're like us and you're actively using links for your SEO campaigns, then we've got a different lens that we're using, which is more focused on basically manipulating data, right? And so if we're looking at a site that's got a lot of traffic going to it, we know it's a healthy site. We know it's got a lot of potential use, etc. And so it's going to typically have more trust in the eyes of any kind of search engine, meaning that it's probably worthwhile to get a backlink from it. However, let's say it's a guest post or a niche edit on that website. There's no guarantee that those pages are going to rank for traffic terms or get that kind of momentum in the SERPs. What you're looking for is just to be getting that backlink from this trusted authority back to your website. And so that's going to enable Google crawlers to go through and then navigate to your website, increasing your trust flow. Not to say trust flow is like a metric from Moz, or Majestic rather, but just the trust of your site overall.
Yeah, so to kind of summarize, just because a website has a bunch of traffic does not mean that the page that you got a link on has a ton of traffic. And it certainly doesn't mean that the page you got a link on has people that are going to be clicking that link and going to it. That would be cool if they did. And especially in the case if it's like, as far as like guest posts and niche edits and the links we use in SEO, that's not really something I expect to get at all.
No,
Maybe if it's like an editorial puff piece on like something like CNN or something, like we're talking like
if you
huge publications.
You pay $4,000 for a high-end article on Forbes or something like that, and you want it to gain
something where they're like actually really promoting you.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like you would still take that piece and do some white hat like social media type promotion or something to move traffic to that, right? So it's still, even if it's on a high-end editorial website like that, you can't just expect that page is going to get traffic and then traffic that's going to resonate in traffic to your site and sales.
I'd say you'd have a better chance, especially if it was like on a big editorial website and it was really like a puff piece about your company or whatever, and the topic was also like kind of like sensational or something, kind of like big news,
for sure,
something like cool happening, big changes or whatever. Which, let's be honest, for 99.9% of you, that's no one cares about your website. If you've
got an affiliate website, and you're trying to promote somebody else's products, it's going to be hard to even get that kind of link. Even more for it to translate into enough traffic and sales based on what you paid for that link, right? If you're getting a $4,000 link, and I'm talking about, that would be like an insane link that you're going to pay something like that for, but something that you'd expect to get traffic from, and it's going to an affiliate site where you get 4% Amazon commissions, it's probably not going to add up to enough for it to matter. So I think when we're talking about the average SEO who's doing gray hat tactics, using backlinks, what you want to focus on more than expecting traffic trickling into your website and therefore increasing in sales, what you're doing is you're using these backlinks, quality backlinks, right? So we're checking things like, do they have traffic, health and SERPs, etc., and would they add value to my site? If it checks all those boxes, you get that backlink. What you're looking for is your asset to resonate better in the SERPs, and that's where you're really going to be winning.
To put that a little bit more simply,
and
instead of looking to get direct traffic from these links and increasing your sales directly from this one link, what we feel is the more realistic option is to use these backlinks from high traffic websites, because Google likes websites with traffic and good rankings of their own and authority, basically. So you're using these links to help your SEO, to help your website rank higher. So rather than you getting a link from a website and then all the traffic just coming straight to you and increasing your sales like that, what we're really using backlinks for in SEO is to push your website up in the rankings, and you'll get traffic from being up higher in the rankings rather than directly from the linking website, right? And then of course sales would come after that. So you rank higher for a bunch of keywords, a bunch of pages on your website, so you start getting more traffic from Google. not from this other website or all these hundreds of websites maybe that link to you. The real traffic you're going to be getting from is Google, right? For your keywords. And yeah, and then sales would theoretically come after that if the traffic likes what you're offering or likes your website, likes what you've got going on. But yeah, I mean, and especially like, the person asked this question, I bought a link from a high traffic website. Like, yeah, that's just,
It's very rare that that's going to equal, traffic and sales to your website, getting a link from another site.
and especially like, yeah, for increasing your rankings and your SEO or whatever, unless you're in like super low competition niche that.
However, I guess if I look at it from like
you need more than one.
Yeah.
And you need to
right.
do it over time. It's a link building campaign. Your business should be getting a constant stream of online press, right? People talking about your business online, or finding or linking to you because they find your stuff useful.
Now, let's say you are more of a white hat SEO. You could create a campaign that could be defined by looking for targets, so specific pages in SERPs that get traffic relatable to the website that you want to get a backlink to. And you could do custom outreach campaigns to see if you can't get backlinks or little sections written on those pages. Typically you're going to have to pay a fee. But I guess you'd have a higher probability of getting traffic that equals sales to your site if you had, backlinks on pages that ranked in the SERPs for specific things. However, most of the people ranking those types of topics are promoting their own sales and own growth. So it wouldn't be a campaign that I would ever advise doing, but I'm sure there's somebody out there trying to do it.
Yeah, so just to recap real quick, I bought a link from a high traffic site. You're going to need more than one in the overwhelming majority of cases to increase your SEO or to make your SEO better, to rank better. But my website isn't getting more traffic or sales. Again, you want more traffic and sales from Google, from your rankings going up rather than from the linking website itself. And I guess that we could also say, sales aren't necessarily correlated. Generally you get more sales when your rankings go up because you're just getting more traffic, and as a numbers game, more people seeing you means more people buying. But, it's something that's a little bit different from SEO is, converting your leads. So CRO, conversion rate optimization, making sure your website is, you're basically feeding the readers information they like to see. They like what you're actually offering. Yeah, it's kind of its own game, right? So hopefully that kind of answers that question a bit. Anything else to add?
Mm-mm.
Cool. Let's see. Hey Yaniv, what's up,
What
man?
up, dude?
Good to see you again. Yaniv is our most loyal question asker on the live stream. Some people send us messages before or whatever because they don't want to ask on the stream, but Yaniv is here. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right. Hey guys, do you use social signals to mimic buzz to justify link building?
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. Actually, if you go to our social signals page, put this over here. Oh my God, I'm rusty. I forgot like all the buttons and stuff. I need to make this smaller. They're a little bit different size, but whatever. There we go. Yeah, so here's the social signals page. And I think you see right here, quick and easy social media buzz. Use the word social proof along. You now have the social proof to go alongside your link building. Yeah, so just real quick, if anyone's not aware, social signals are basically like likes, shares, some kind of interaction with URL, a link to your website on social media sites. Yeah, like Reddit, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever. Um, and yeah, they are not, it's not counted the same way that backlinks are counted by Google. Google actually says that they don't look at it at all,
Which is
but
That's bullshit.
but it's, yeah, as Nick so eloquently puts it, that's bullshit, man.
We're not allowed to say that on
Yeah, we are.
YouTube. YouTube, I think, won't let you monetize if you say bad words.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll blank them out.
This is for the people.
It's for the people.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it, right? How often do you see something in the press or a product, news in general, that's shared only on the news or only on the internet, like in the form of a website or a blog page or post, and you don't see it resonate in social media at all? It doesn't really make sense, right? It's going to be everywhere. And so adding social signals to any backlinking campaign or any campaign in general is of course going to be a good option. And even though Google says that it doesn't value these things or value them the same way, there's plenty of people, and you can look them up, just with simple Google searches, but that have done plenty of testing on how valuable social signals are to move pages. And it's been in my experience that they're worthwhile to use every month with my backlinking campaigns.
Yeah. I kind of look at these things like pillow links in a way, even though they're not like the same as an actual link. I just look at them like pillow links. It's something to add diversity. It's something to make your link profile. It makes everything look more natural. Because like Nick said, if your website is getting a lot of backlinks from other websites, like in editorial articles and stuff, your website is probably going to be shared, on social media and people interacting with it in some way. It makes sense. But yeah, this isn't something I would like go crazy with, and it's not something I would expect to just buy a ton of social signals and rank from it. I've never tried it, so I guess.
But I mean, depending on
the thing is, if
competition is probably not.
They're so cheap though. So we sell them for $15, and you get over 225 social signals. They're so cheap that if it worked for ranking, people would just
be spamming social signals everywhere. They're more just something you add to build the narrative that real buzz has been created about your website.
But yeah, like you said, Niv, that's exactly why we use them, to mimic buzz, to justify link building. It makes everything just look normal, makes it all make sense to Google. It's just like an added layer of naturalness, or whatever you want to call it. All right. How effective is PR? I think, okay, yeah. So I guess you mean press releases. What's it used for primarily? Link juice or anchor diversity? So pretty much like we just talked about with social signals in a way, right? Kind of look at press releases like a type of pillow link. It's really good for just looking very natural. Most of the links are no follow. And yeah, I'll let you.
So, it's not really used for link juice as much as it's natural that, some press would hit about some specific website, right? It's not so much going to be used for anchor diversity because typically when a press release is put on a line, which is what it's called, or a wire rather, it syndicates to a lot of these places. So the anchors are actually going to all be the same. Branded or naked is what I advise always using on a press release. Never try and manipulate your anchors, money anchors, using a press release. Of course, if you've got a partial match domain or exact match domain, That's going to let you be a little bit more aggressive there. What it's used for, though, primarily, or press releases are used for, is to mimic buzz, right? That some kind of information that's worthy of being, or that's newsworthy, has been let loose. And basically, like Chris said, just for using it as a style of pillow link. What I think is really cool about press releases and what you can kind of do with them is, don't overuse them. So I would say, for the average website, especially if you're not used to it, like once every 6 months to a year, maybe, to put out information about press. For a new website, this can be, this brand has built a new website. That's press. Or later on, like this brand has put out a new product.
Oh yeah, Joe's plumbing service now fixing
Catering
clogged drains better
Yeah.
because they have new drain technology.
Exactly. So, you can get really out there with it, but when you do that, you can also kind of increase the amount of backlinks that you send to a campaign and mimic what looks like natural buzz occurring. So especially if you're mixing social signals, a bunch of different, guest posts, niche edits, diversity links, stuff like that, and a PR all at the same time within a 1 month span, it does look natural for a website to get press generated from like news sources, which would also hype up social media, which would also create buzz from blogs, creating backlinks back to your asset. And so, PR is used as a style of pillow link that should be used sparingly to announce new news. And if you are, proactive with your backlinking campaigns, it's a great time to get a little bit more aggressive, over the course of like the next month, and then it can kind of trickle down back to normal.
Yeah, so everything we preach about link building here is, we're trying to build links safely to stand the test of time. Very natural backlink profiles that are algorithm proof, right? That you're not going to get slapped for. And like Nick was saying, press releases are an excellent way to kind of like start this. Like, why is this company getting buzz?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, just think about a normal company. Okay, so the company hit some kind of revenue milestone, and they've grown and brought on 50% more new employees or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then so they got this news out there in a press release, and then people start on social media and say, hey, wow, these, I used them before and they're great. It's good to see them growing. I should use them too, whatever. And then maybe a couple blogs pick up on the news and report on it or whatever. It makes sense, right? Yeah. In the real world, this is how things can work. And so it can work for you as well. And it just helps paint a very pretty picture for Google that says, this company is legitimate. This company is doing things the right way, and they aren't doing anything weird. And we definitely aren't going to slap them. In fact, we're going to reward them.
Yeah. Now, on the opposite token, what not to do with the press release? Well, like Chris said, it's so easy to come up with a realistic story that, I could type up 500 words to 1,000 words real quick about something going on within our company that's pressworthy. Or if I had like an affiliate site that I wanted to promote, I could come up with a million different reasons, and they don't even have to be factual. Oh, what do you know? My website just hired a new CEO who's got extensive history in whatever niche I want them to be in. It's easy to write these stories and make them interesting articles versus, back in the day, I remember people using spun content or just very, very shitty writing services.
Do them right. I feel like you don't want to like get aggressive.
Don't spam with this. Yeah. It's been used for spam for forever.
Yeah, don't
spam with it.
When you're doing anything that's like a pillow link or whatever, don't get weird with them. Don't get aggressive. Don't try to like get juice out of them. No. Don't do exact match anchors. the whole point of these things is naturalness.
Yep.
So why would you go in the opposite direction and start trying to like use them as a
So
as
easily
a cheap
traceable
way to
by
get a
our
ton of exact match anchors or something? Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Number one, most important thing to not do is use aggressive anchor text. Don't use money anchors.
Because
Don't
then you're
don't
going to
use keyword
syndicate to like
anchors.
300 different news
Yeah,
articles.
when a business does a press release, they link to their freaking company,
Yeah.
to their
Yeah,
homepage,
homepage
to their
only too, I would
homepage
advise.
with probably their brand name or just a URL anchor. That's it. Don't get weird with it. Don't try to game the system. Yaniv, don't think outside the box on this one.
Unless it's about writing an interesting piece.
We know Yaniv likes to think outside the box, which can be good, but with this stuff, I would not think outside the box.
Yeah, keep it simple on these.
For sure. Anything else to add on that?
Nah.
All right, let's see. If I need, say, 200 referring domains to compete in a certain niche, how will your 30 pillow links help diversify anchors and link type if it will only make up 15% of the RD I need? But I need more than 30 links. All right, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our pillow links page. So people can know what we're talking about here. So he's talking about our pillow links pack, which is a pack of 30, yeah, it's like 30 super like white hat links. It's a mix of different types of links, and you can see some of them right here, like citations, niche directories, forum profiles, social profiles, web 2.0s. We throw some social signals in there. It's just it's a mix of anybody can make these links. It just takes time, right? And it's very natural for websites to get these types of links, and so we use them for diversity. We use them to help your overall link profile look natural to Google, right? So they don't get angry with you. So back to the question. If I need 200 referring domains, so links from 200 unique domains to compete in a certain niche, how will your 30 pillow links help diversify anchors and link type that only make up 15%? So first of all, and yeah, with our pillow links packs, it's just natural anchors. It's like branded anchors, URL anchors, maybe some generic anchors in there.
Also, though, pillow links would typically only go to your homepage, so you're not going to be diversifying an inner page using pillow links. Like you could do it with Web 2.0s exclusively, but it doesn't make sense for citations or niche directories to go to inner pages. Really, not typically natural.
Yeah. And another thing is, so this is 30 links, but I wouldn't really count this in your referring domains, because usually if you're looking at referring domains, you're probably looking at Ahrefs, and a lot of these pillow links might not ever show up in Ahrefs. Just these types of links, sometimes Ahrefs does not show them because they try to show the most important links. So some of them will probably show up, but Ahrefs a lot of times does not show these types of links. They show what they think are like the heavy hitters, the most important things you have.
I would say also be careful with saying you need a specific amount of referring domains to compete in a certain niche, because a lot of times we're talking about, so what are we going after? We've got our website, it's in a specific niche, but then we're going after specific SERPs. We're targeting specific SERPs, and that's where we're going to gain our traffic from. So typically the homepage, which is where you're going to pillow link to, typically when you first start, you want to get the backlinks that are most natural for a website to get. So pillow links is typically where you start. All of this is going to be branded or generic. This isn't going to be to diversify your anchors in any way, shape, or form other than with branding, right? So you're not going to use money anchors here. This is literally just building. It's the first steps of building and painting like a backlink profile, right? It makes sense that you would be in niche directories and Web 2.0s that have niche specific content and stuff like that to just start the painting of the picture. that this website exists, and it exists on prevalent places you'd expect other websites to have listings on. When we, like Chris said, when we start thinking about the amount of referring domains it's going to take to affect a specific page and then get that ranking in the SERPs, we're talking about a whole different type of backlinking campaign, right? It's going to involve diversification of anchors, including branded and naked, random, but also with money anchors. But you're not going to use directories to do that. You're going to use the higher value stuff like, again, guest posts, niche edits. That's our bread and butter. So when we talk about RD, we're talking about RD to the home page, and then we're talking about RD to a specific page that we're trying to rank. So there's a little bit of a difference there. And then we have to kind of conceptualize the value of these referring domains. So if a website you're competing with has 200 referring domains, but they're all Web 2.0s or lower end, easier to get stuff, and you come in there with maybe 10 to 20%, but they're higher value, you might beat them with 15% of the links that they've got, right? So there's a lot of variables here that we're talking about that kind of paint a bigger picture.
Let's say this. Let's say you have a website and it has 200 referring domains and you're looking to just kind of diversify a bit. Then maybe a pillow links pack, maybe a diversity links pack. I wouldn't really go much more than that. And you can also, a lot of times we pillow with like lower authority guest posts or niche edits. Mm-hmm. Usually we use lower authority niche edits, like the barrage options, mm-hmm. but you can even do like our level ones, just the cheaper niche edits. And they're not really pillow links per se, but what I say when we pillow with them, we're generally linking to the homepage with them with very natural anchors. URL anchors, generic anchors, branded anchors. And these kind of links, even though they're lower authority niche edits or lower authority guest posts, these will more so count towards that RD count that you're talking about rather than the pillow links themselves. But if you have a site with roughly 200 RD, you don't need, as far as like pillow links go, like real pillow links, I wouldn't get much more than just one pack and then move on and keep doing your guest posts or your niche edits. If you think it needs more anchor diversity, you can diversify with those. Just use the cheaper ones or the lower authority ones.
Now, remember too that you can always continually pillow. We only sell one pillow links pack per asset, typically, right? Or two.
No, we can do as many as they want. We recommend that they don't really need more than that.
Yeah, because they probably end up getting overlap. Either way.
The teams look at it. They
do?
Try to, yeah, okay. I think.
I always thought we were limiting.
Definitely with stuff like the citations and stuff, they 100% look for overlap. I don't think they put them on the same Web 2.
Yeah. No, they would give them new Web 2.0s. But...
we've never. The team definitely looks for overlap. But there probably would be some overlap after a while for like stuff like
mainly directories and citations, what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, definitely no overlap there. What was I just thinking about? Maybe there is no overlap. I don't know. We've definitely never got a complaint about it.
Okay.
This is a really horrible sales pitch right here.
Anyhow, you can continually pillow, right? Like if you order this like first month and then you find a vendor that you really like that does high quality Web 2.0s, you can continually like do that, right? And like you get more versatility out of some of these than others. Like Web 2.0s you can use towards inner pages, citations, niche directories. You can't. And the reason I would say limit this and then you can continually pillow with other stuff is like, our pillow links pack is exactly this. It's a medley of the different links that you could use.
Yep. So yeah, just to recap, you might not need 200 referring domains to compete. Depends on the types of links that you end up building. But it's a good ballpark. You're checking out the competition. Maybe they have 200 RDs, so that's kind of your goal. 30 pillow links, 30 pillow links for a 200 RD site is pretty decent. And I wouldn't worry about, if you're continuing to build links, then just add some more pillow links in every now and then. It's not something you need to think about too much or stress about too much. You just add them in every now and then and move on with life. Right? I mean, that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, we haven't pillowed in a while.
Yeah, you'll
Maybe
hear
just do a
people
little
like,
extra.
hey, they haven't indexed yet, or like, these random things when talking about pillow links, and it's like, just move on with your life.
Let it go.
Go on.
The point is not to force index pillow links. Like it's
I
like
don't force index any.
It's like what we were talking about with press releases, right? So a lot of people, the idea of the whole reason of using a press release for SEO is this naturalness, and people try to game it by doing this manipulative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking something that could be very natural, very healthy for them, and they're making it horrible. And people try to do the same thing with pillow links sometimes too. They try to get exact match anchors, or they try to force index things. Like, stop force indexing your pillow links. Let them index natural. Like no natural.
If anything, you're probably increasing the rate at which it will never be indexed.
Yeah, no natural company is force indexing their forum profiles like this, and that's just not happening. So just let them go naturally, and they'll get indexed over time, or they won't. I wouldn't advise being too aggressive with them. So I got one more. I'm in the locksmith niche. Does it make sense that a locksmith company will get buzz on social or a press release? Absolutely. Any kind of company,
Dale's Locksmithing unlocked a car with a baby in it last week in 100-degree weather.
But
or dog.
Just think about it, like a press release. Anybody, any legitimate business that doesn't know any
social media. Yeah, well, either. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
Both. So any company can go to the press. Any company can do a press release, and a lot of companies do press releases. Even a small company can do it. Maybe they go to their local news stations or whatever, and they're just trying to get some press going in their small town or whatever. Any company can do this, so can your company.
Mm-hmm. And social media, everything is discussed. Just picture Reddit, for example. Think of a topic and see if it's talked about on there. It's fine.
That's another thing about social media. Any business owner can go on social media and promote their stuff. They can drop links to their stuff anywhere they want on social media. Happy customers or angry customers can go anywhere they want on social media and talk shit about your company, or give you a glowing review and tell people why they should use you. All of this stuff happens for every type of company that exists, so it can happen for your company too. It doesn't matter what your niche is. It makes sense. Let's see.
Anywhere else, maybe?
All right. Let's go to this one.
Yeah.
Hey, strange question, and I will agree it is a strange question. I'm a longtime customer paying over $1,000 a month. I want to test your service against others. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, so this question was asked to me last week, and I found it pretty interesting because I think there's like a misconception maybe of this, being a longtime link vendor. You would think I'd see every other link vendor as competition. But you have to remember, I didn't have all these networks when I first got started in SEO. And so I was always out there testing different vendors and then trying to procure different vendors that I did work with. It's the same in any other kind of industry where the more you test products with different places, the more you're going to find things that you like or dislike about different products, etc. And you're going to be kind of building a toolbox by testing these places. Now, there's a bunch of different names, both big and small names that you can look up in SERPs, you can find through groups. And I would encourage people, rather than saying, you're testing somebody's links against somebody else's links, there's so many variables there that like I feel like are kind of being missed. And like the real thing that you are trying to do when you're testing links is you're looking for quality links that you can use to push your agenda, your website, right?
Quote Stephen Floyd.
You've got to be able to inspect what you expect. So like if you understand what you're looking for in your link building campaigns, meaning you understand what kind of things work, what kind of quality you're looking for in a specific type of backlink, you're going to be able to go out and look for more people that can help you with your campaigns. Now, rather than thinking there's one vendor to rule them all, even if it would be us, I was like, even if it would be us, you're still going to be able to utilize a bunch of other vendors to kind of diversify who you rely on for your backlinking campaigns. I've never encouraged anybody to just use our networks.
I encourage them to only.
I do, and we've built out something pretty solid to where you can heavily rely on us for your backlinking campaigns. But still, we don't provide every kind of backlink. We don't do PR yet. We've thought about developing that for a while, but we've talked about it 2 times today. And no, it's not a type of backlink we've got. So, do I have people that I rely on for these things? Absolutely. But I'm not going to mention them, namely because we don't have that kind of relationship. And I don't want to blow up any smaller vendors that we use,
we don't really promote any other services here.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that's like really.
But in a sense, we do, right? Because like we have articles on our favorite SEO groups on Facebook, things like that, and we'll talk about people that we like. But when you're talking about looking at other services, just go try out other services and see whether they hit your quality standards and whether those links that you're getting are at a good price and that they can help you with your backlinking campaign. Ultimately, that's your goal set, and that's what you should be interested in. The concept of testing, like our backlinks, say guest posts, our guest posts against another reputable guest post vendor, they should be pretty comparable when talking about levels of how good these links are. Based on, if you're going to another reputable vendor, they should have quality checks that they're doing on their guest posts as well. And the idea should be, same with us, they've been tested over time. We've decided what metrics we're looking for that boost our campaigns. And so in the end, you're using them to get leverage in the SERPs. You can switch up the link vendors you use every now and then, or you can use 2 at the same time and expect that the networks that they have, involve different websites. So, it's just every time you test a new vendor, you're essentially finding more tools, I guess, or brands for these tools that you can trust in helping you with the campaign. And especially if you're kind of newer and maybe jumping, when I got started, I remember, relying heavily on like Fiverr links and stuff like that. The issue is how much money you spend trying to find, the gem providers in there that can actually help you with substantial or quality links rather than, garbage that gets fed out there. So, when you're testing out different vendors too, consider the amount that you're going to spend, and then consider that you might not get high quality stuff. So typically that's going to involve using a test site, or a site that's just, so strong that it's, probably not going to get turned over by getting hit with a couple of bad backlinks.
So I'll say a couple things on this. So I'm not going to recommend any other services, but what I will do is tell you well, how I would look at evaluating a link vendor if you wanted to test them against us. First of all, in order to test them, you're going to have to spend a good amount of money with them.
And us.
I mean, I think he's already spending $1,000
Yeah,
a
but
month.
I mean, yeah.
But so I mean, so basically, you need to spend a lot of you're going to need to spend a decent amount of money with another vendor in order to get enough links to really make any kind of like judgment call, right? And get a feel for the service itself. Some things you can look at. So like Nick said, and like we quote so often, Stephen Floyd used to say, you have to be able to inspect what you expect. And what that means is you cannot test a link building service without knowing what a quality backlink looks like. If you can't, if you don't know what a quality backlink looks like, that means what you're actually testing is what the service does for your rankings. And the problem with that is your rankings aren't based on the links that you just built, right? So for example, let's say that you are using our service for $1,000 a month or whatever, and we've built you, whatever, 300 referring domains, 500 referring domains over time. And then you say, okay, well, now I want to go test this other service. And you buy, maybe 10 links from them, and then your rankings go up, or maybe even more than normal. But it's like, you're also disregarding the 500 links that were already built for your website got it to where it was, that it could benefit from a little push, to a certain keyword or to a page or whatever. So rather than going to a new service and buying links and then looking at your rankings and saying, oh, my rankings went up, so these guys are really good. What I think the better thing to do in evaluating a link vendor is knowing what a quality backlink is. And I've got a little article real quick. And throw this up for you. So what makes the quality backlink, and just kind of go through some stuff like power, relevance, authority, cover a bunch of stuff, traffic, blah 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 blah. Anyway, you can read this on your own time, but being able to evaluate what makes a good link, going and spending money with another vendor and actually inspecting the links them yourself rather than watching what your rankings are doing. Inspect the links to see what was actually being built. Evaluate things like their customer service. What happens if there's an issue? Do they take care of things, or are you just kind of like left out on your own or whatever? Maybe turnaround time, I guess, but I think all link vendors kind of have a similar turnaround time, unless they're maybe a really small link vendor that has their own portfolio of websites, or maybe they can make things move a little bit quickly. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel like turnaround time is not that important, because if you're doing a link building campaign over time, that means that you would be constantly putting in new orders over time. So it doesn't matter how long it takes them to complete. There would just be a lag in the beginning, and then it would just be a steady stream of links coming into your website over time. So I feel like turnaround time is not that important, but it might be to you. It's something you could look at. I'd say the main
If
things
you're
are
working
just
with clients, maybe, right?
Because
if you get reports going out at a specific time, but that's why we're so hard-lined about our MLB going out on time, which that's Chris cracking the whip.
But yeah, I would just inspect stuff like the main thing you need to be able to inspect when you're testing a vendor is just the quality of the links. And you need to be able to do that yourself without looking at your rankings to see if your rankings are saying the links are good. You need to be able to look at the links themselves and say, did the links that they built me, are these good links? Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. You have anything else to add? Cool. I think we might have time for one more. Maybe two more.
Big question. All right.
Make sure there's no questions here. Okay. I have a big question for you guys. I have a big site with more than 6,000 URLs and lots of keywords ranking. How can I fight against keyword cannibalization and duplicated content? What is the best procedure? So, I mean, as far as duplicate content goes,
Yeah, I'm wondering why you think you have that issue at all. And when I think about 6,000 URLs, I'm like,
maybe it's a client site, so he's not sure about it. I'll let you take this. Is one we kind of answer somewhat often.
yeah, but on a site that big, it's like, we keep the main place like that we look is Surfer SEO or SE ranking, but we're actually like actively watching our campaigns. If we had a site that big, what would you use to audit that? Like, I think some people maybe use like Screaming Frog to get like a URLs list, or I guess you could get that from anywhere. I'm gonna wait for Chris to get back. Because like in SE ranking, it'll show you what two URLs are competing for the same SERP. But if I'm like actually auditing round up, maybe Screaming Frog for like a URL list, if it's like a client site, or I guess
Yeah,
Ahrefs top pages and see what you think should be ranking on page one that has like a comparable.
I'm not sure about Screaming Frog, to be honest. I've never really messed with a site that big as far as that wasn't that that's
Because
not
like we're talking about auditing, hypothetical, if it's a client site, we're talking about auditing a client site to see if they have duplicate content and cannibalization issues. Duplicate content would be easy because you could just get Copyscape, right? I should have probably talked about this while you're gone. Copyscape, I guess. Take your page, the content on there, and run it through Copyscape, and it should show you if you've got duplicate content showing up on a different page of your website.
Copyscape.
Mm-hmm.
You want to use the paid one.
Yeah, so you go to Copyscape Premium, you put some money in there, it's very
super
cheap.
Yeah, like you're paying like cents.
And then it would show you whether you've got content showing up on one page that then is also showing up everywhere else, and the percentage of it that would be duplicate.
Yeah,
so that would take that, but then figuring out cannibalization on a 6,000 page website, I guess, too. It's like, so ultimately what you want to do is you start with a list of all the URLs associated with that domain. And then you'd be looking for clusters, right? What is similar? And then you'd have to audit all of those by going to the specific SERP, maybe using something like Surfer SEO to see what kind of SERP overlap exists. And then manually checking.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Like what we're talking about is a lot of work.
What I would do, if this was me, I'm working on a client site, 6,000 page websites, not my own, so I'm not that familiar with it, is I would, you would need a list of like their important URLs, important keywords, and look at which one. I would start with the most important ones, and I would check manually from there. Is this page, first of all, is this page not ranking well?
Yeah.
That could be an indicator that there's something going on with cannibalization or whatever, and that's something you could check, pretty easy manually.
And then are there pages on this site
that is ranking for that keyword that this page is not ranking for?
Yeah.
And you can just check that on
or
Ahrefs
none of
or
them
something.
ranking, but they're all in the same cluster, like keyword cluster. Yeah, there's quite a few things that you'd want to look through. Let's make it easier and say it's a 60-page website. All right, well, find them, like get a URL list together, cluster out what you think kind of goes together or what might compete in a SERP, and then manually check So how would we manually check? You'd pull up a SERP for like, let's say it's about best dog toys. You'd see how many different articles you have about dog toys, and then manually check the SERPs to see what kind of overlap exists. So you'd have like, let's say you've got 2 articles, best dog toys, and then my dog's favorite dog toys, right? Just because they are 2 different topics doesn't necessarily mean that Google isn't ranking the same websites or types of websites or articles for both of those SERPs. And so you would have to manually go in and see what Google is asking, when it comes to positioning you on those SERPs. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I'm feeling like maybe there is a tool that we're just not familiar with that could probably help you do this a bit easier. Like there's got to be something that can, a way to scrape like some of this information, I would think, but I don't know. I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I said Screaming Frog might be able to tell you some info.
I mean,
but I feel like with keyword cannibalization, it's still like
I
we're
would
always manually checking for this.
I would want the keywords. I would want a list of the keywords, and I would just I would just throw them into SE ranking, and I would let it show me what URLs are ranking for those keywords,
Yeah.
and then I would just say is this the URL it's supposed to be ranking
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
right? That's probably what I would do.
Yeah, I would never take on a job like this.
It's not something I would want to do. It sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about these guys every now and then.
I really like them.
SE ranking. There's probably other rank tracking software that does a similar thing. We're using SE ranking because for whatever reason that's what we started using.
Yeah.
Not saying it's really better than the other ones, but what the cool thing about SE ranking is you plug in your keywords that you want to track, and then it shows you, your big list of your rankings or whatever, and then one by one, it has a little link icon, and if there's a number by the link icon, that means you have more than one URL that's ranking for that keyword,
Competing for that SERP.
And so the thing about SE ranking is you do have to pay for basically like with the amount of keywords that you're tracking. So for a very large site like that, I don't even know how many keywords they want to be tracking or whatever. But you might end up having to get kind of the more expensive plan. But also if it's a 6,000 page website and you're having to audit the whole thing, they better be paying you like a really good amount of money.
For sure. It's just a lot of work what you're talking about.
But so yeah, if it was me, just with the current tool set that I have and just the way I know how to do things, this is probably what I would do. I'd throw them in here and see if there's anything on the links on the side with more than one URL ranking, and just making sure with the correct URL ranking for each keyword. Maybe not the most efficient way to go after it. Maybe there's a better way.
Else, yeah.
But yeah, this is not really a task that I've had to do before because I don't work on client sites like this that I'm not familiar with, that are really big. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. If you have a ton of duplicate content though, typically you're pretty hard pressed to find yourself ranking for much of anything in the SERPs.
It depends what's being duplicated.
Yeah, that too.
Like, if it's just like something that's like at the bottom of every page, or it's like maybe you've got an e-com store and like part of the product description is the same or whatever, might not be a huge deal. You just have to evaluate that on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you though.
No, yeah, I mean that's true.
Anything else to add?
Not really. That's a hefty one.
Yeah, it's
I feel like there were no help at all on that question.
well, I think
it's a
SE
place
ranking,
to start. Yeah, SE ranking, and then manually search.
but that's the thing is, we're not going to have the answers to every question. Our specialty, our our bread and butter is link building. I mean, we're Sir Links a lot.
Yeah, but we also,
we're a
like,
link building
any
agency.
money site we build is going to have a strong foundational structure, right? We're never going to have
Yeah, and
duplicate content because we don't
don't-
stuff like that. We're not going to have
we're not working on
keyword
page.
cannibalization because we start off going through keyword research is the foundational most important thing, which is the structure of our website. So if you start off right, you don't have to go back and audit. At the point you're at, we're talking about it'd be like a home builder versus a home remodeler, or somebody that fixes specific things in a home. We build them ground up.
Yeah, all the sites that we're doing on page for, we built them. They're our websites.
Yeah.
We don't do on page on any client sites. Sir Links a lot does do link building for client sites. We do the managed link building program, but we got that one client now. You're doing some on page for them, but that's a very rare. That's a very not normal thing for us.
No, I haven't been a client in years.
So maybe there's a better way to go about it, but this is what I would do. Might wanna check around other places as well. Maybe you can get a little bit of a better answer on that one. Anything else? You seem sad that we couldn't answer that one.
Sorry. Well, it's just like, it's a little bit more of a depressing one to end on, but
it's whatever.
it's real. I mean, it's realistic,
It's just what our specialties are. It's like when we were learning SEO, there was a couple people that I learned from where I just knew, these weren't exactly the people to ask about this certain thing. Everyone has their own expertise, their own specialty or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'd be able to figure out the solution if enough money was thrown at me.
Well, if we did it,
yeah,
if we had to do it.
But it's like,
but we don't do it.
Yeah, I would.
If our business depended on us automating in an efficient way this task, then our answer would probably be different.
Probably. but it would probably start somewhere similar to what we said, because that's what's in our toolkit, right? Currently that's what's in our toolkit, so that's where we would start.
Exactly.
And then you figure out more things along the way by experimenting, prodding, and learning. Sure. I'm glad that's not where we got started.
But yeah, if that is where you are, don't be too sad. Hopefully you're getting some money for this big audit.
Yeah, if you're getting paid, it doesn't matter. Like,
it's
a
even
job
good to have
about
the
solving a
outline.
problem. So, you just you have a problem in front of you. It is solvable, but it just might take quite a bit of ingenuity and high-end thinking.
All right, I've got one more quick question. I'll answer this. This is gonna be the last question we take now. Here we go. How to find perfect websites for guest posting. This is actually a huge question. So the thing is, I do have an article on it. No. So I actually wrote this article a while ago now. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat for you. How to find guest posting opportunities. So let's go ahead and we'll just do a quick, where's my stream? There we go. Do a quick rundown of this. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do this. I even tell you not to do that. So you can use guest post footprints. This is probably the way that I like to go about it the most, and which actually is in a different article. And so basically you're using like a scraper, or you could do it manually to use basically things like this. these are some like keywords you can search for in the scraper, or you're using they're called Google search operators. Where do I explain that? Here, Google search operators. So that you're basically scanning for sites that include a certain thing. You can do this manually, or you could use a scraper like Scrapebox to look for these websites. And so then basically you're finding a big list of websites that you think maybe these people do guest posts. Or, you know, they might not even have a footprint, right? Because some of these you might not want to post on sites that have like this. So you could just look for websites in your niche. And again, you could look for websites in your niche either manually, or you could use a scraper to search for certain keywords. And then you're going to reach out to them. Or I guess you'd want to qualify them first. You want to look at the website, make sure it meets your standards. So again, you're going to have to be able to know what makes a website a good site to get a link on. And for that, I think Nick was saying, yeah, you can look at our article here, what makes a quality backlink. And so this, we're kind of talking about basically the metrics of websites, what they have that makes a backlink from them good to get. I'll go ahead and drop this in the chat too. Yeah, so this article, the first one, guest post footprints and how to find guest post opportunities. These are kind of about finding the actual websites. This is what is a quality backlink. This one's about evaluating the website. You know, is a link in this website good for you or not? And then the third step would be actually reaching out to these websites. You know, you actually need to send them an email and you need to make a pitch. And you know, this is equally as important as the other steps. I would advise not going the spammy route, not going, you know, you can use a template, but I would do a good amount of personalization for each one rather than spamming, you know, thousands of websites with the same stupid template that has no personalization. I feel like by spending more time, hire a VA or do it yourself, whatever, if you don't have the resources for a VA, and adding some personalization to it goes a really long way rather than them just getting the same copy-pasted template. And you know, some guest post sites, they will respond to the template because you know it might be their business or a large part of their business, but I feel like personalization is super important and will get you some good results on some quality sites. You know, show examples of previous work, pitch ideas for guest posts to do for them, put some thought into it, and yeah, I wouldn't skimp out on that step at all. Do you have anything to add?
No, you got it. If you check out those articles, I feel like, you know, the answer is in there.
Yeah, like I said, it's a really big question, and we've got these articles written on it, so I'm not going to go.
We probably have some videos as well.
Wait, did I not show the articles? Hopefully I did show the articles. I don't know if I had the wrong thing up on the stream. Anyway, yeah, hopefully that helps you.
They're easy to look up. Just type Sir Links a lot and then the article title in Google.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming out today. Hopefully our answers helped you, and we will hopefully be back with the green screen and the actual studio set up next week, so things are a little less or a little more professional.
Yeah, a little nice.
But we'll see. No promises, but we hope things will get.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, we're gonna answer your questions, right? So most importantly, we'll be back here next week, talking to you live.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming out. We'll